My name's Connor Campbell, fighting out of Andy Roberts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I compete on a regular basis, like Jiu-Jitsu competitions. I've won loads of stuff from Naga Champion, like Bournemouth, Dorset Hands, all of these kind of things. Been training a lot of leg locks for brown belt rules, but other than that, just doing long rounds with my coaches, doing long, hard rounds over and over, just preparing really.
My name is Piotr Winiarek. I fight in Mad Hatters in Chichester. Nothing special, just training every day and just literally I pick up that tournament 1.5 weeks ago. I replaced him, the guy. It's not my weight division, so it's quite challenge for me. The guys are heavier than me, about 6 kg. So, well, I fought in lightweight divisions before, so I'm quite good.
With a stellar choice in walkout tunage, it's Connor Campbell from Andy Roberts BJJ, 6'1", just 18 years of age, from Farnborough. I think I said that right with my American accent. Dean, a very well coached and very dangerous competitor.
Coming from Andy Roberts, excellent subs, very tight. Train hard for this camp, use a lot of conditioning and flexibility drills.
Excited to see what this youngster has got for us here tonight at Apocalypse Fight Series. And marching down to the ring, Piotr Winiarek, 6 foot even from Mad Hatters, 32 years of old, the oldest individual in this tournament. Straight out of Bognor Regis, super physical, very tough, loves a challenge. And I love this guy's attitude, Dean.
Always up for competitions, never shies away, and his physical attributes really do take him there. But he does couple it with excellent technique, coming from Jack McGee, the Mad Hatters, known for their BJJ.
Both athletes have been very vocal of their excitement and eagerness to get in there tonight and compete for the big tournament here out of Bognor Regis. Chris Hoekstra ringside calling all the action alongside Dean Midhat. Dean, we've got Piotr and Connor. And Connor Campbell immediately in for the guard pull, full guard.
Pulls guard here, looking to control the wrists. Might look for a triangle here, but again we see Winiarek very strong. He's able to pin the arms down. But he needs to think about passing here from this position. You can't sit here and let Campbell figure out what he wants to do. He's actively trying to pass this guard.
And Campbell doing a good job of wrist fighting there. Interesting to see him kind of go 2-on-1 at times. And it's also very interesting to think that Piotr appears to be looking to probably try and stand and pass here at some point.
Winiarek doing the correct thing. He's keeping his hands center-bodied or almost on their hips. He needs to start thinking about making the distance between Campbell's legs bigger. Here we go, now Campbell opens the legs, looking for a possible Kimura attempt, or could turn it into a hip bump sweep.
And he definitely went for that hip bump sweep first. Fishes back for the guillotine and then sinks in the body triangle off his back. A shrug from Campbell. Piotr looking to get a hold somehow, some way to put his weight down and stand and pass. That's exactly what I suspected. Right into combat base. But Campbell very active. The guard, although closed, is not static.
Winiarek now sitting down, and this is a skill in itself, Chris, to be able to sit in somebody's guard and not get swept, not get submitted. The way his posture is up there, so his head is pointing towards the sky, keeps his posture nice and high so he's not able to get swept, and he's doing a good job of bringing his arms back out of danger.
And you can see just in an instant Campbell's legs open. And the stiff arm technique also of Winiarek is key. When he's postured like that, he's very difficult to collapse and pull in.
I'd like to see Winiarek now put one of his knees in the back of the buttocks of Campbell and force that guard position open a bit easier and force the knee down. So be careful with the sweep here. Again, with that good posture and excellent base that Winiarek's known for. But Connor Campbell looking for that sweep, doesn't get it, goes back to full guard. Could be looking for a triangle here.
He's definitely operating with that idea in the cards. You can see him continually try to fight for wrist control on that side. of where the guard was opening and thinking about stuffing that arm via the wrist control in, which would allow one arm in and, of course, open up the triangle choke. But there we go. Piotr standing up, trying to maintain control here, though, encounters Campbell.
Campbell looking for the handstand sweep. He's trying to hook the leg and force the hips back. But it's lucky that this is in the cage because Winiarek was able to regain his balance just by falling into the cage.
Well, you heard it there, folks. Listen to my main man, Dean Midhat, always looking at the hypotheticals and thinking outside the box. And really, Dean, when it comes to submission grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you've got to be able to think 3D. You've got to think about the use of space. And when you've got the wire here on the edge of the ring, that adds another dimension to the geometry. So it's interesting to see how both fighters are using that to their advantage and in some cases disadvantage. Here we go, a reset. And we will continue as both fighters acknowledge hip bump attempt from Campbell, stuffed by Winiarek.
Winiarek now needs to actively open this guard. He needs to think about manipulating the knee downwards. Here we go, he's open guard now. He's underhooking that leg. What he needs to do is start pushing with his, Campbell now looking possible up on a platter attempt.
Yeah, a couple of options there, actually. But rather than compromise position by aggressively going from one of those, he actually did a good job of recovering to this open guard scenario. And there we go, locks back in for closed guard. Excellent stuff. I love the use of leverage by Campbell. And I think that suits his frame. Look at that, going back and forth. Excellent, again, adjustments and manipulation from Campbell.
Interesting to hear Winiarek's corner there, Jack McGee, high-level black belt. He's asking for pat-pat, which means movement's quick, so Campbell's muscles can't catch up. And now Winiarek looking for the leg lock.
Straight ankle lock here, going for the Achilles. Now, under these rules, they are allowed to control with the leg reap, but they've got to continue to keep things fluid. And that's exactly what Piotr is doing. I think he wants top position here, Dean. I think he's left that leg in the periphery for the moment.
The key there was the head. Winiarek able to hook the head of Campbell and use it to lever himself back on top. Has to be careful about getting swept in. He needs to get his right leg over the body of Campbell, but Campbell senses that now. Passes with downward pressure.
And the roll has turned in his favor. Man, the tables have turned more times in the last 60 seconds than the opening 5.
Precarious position here for Winiarek. You see his right leg, his hip is over. This is exactly what he needs to do. He needs to get his right leg out now and utilize some hooks or perhaps use it to retain guard.
And now we're well over halfway through this one. It's certainly bubbling up nicely, Dean. Oh! Flying in there for the technique is Campbell, spinning around like a turntable as Piotr thinks about the takedown. Or was that Campbell that pulled guard there? I couldn't quite tell from this angle, but man, what an exchange. I love this stuff.
Campbell went for that flying triangle, and it just lit a fuse in both of these athletes to gain a dominant position. I think Campbell went for a guillotine, and Winiarek turned it into a takedown. But again, reset to the middle of the mat.
And again, excellent refereeing. What he did is he let the dynamic exchange play out, allowed both fighters to sediment, and then resets. And now we got the toe hold underway and a tap. There's the submission. Huge, huge, huge for Campbell. This is 2/3 of the way through this contest, and now he is up on the scorecards. This is now when it gets interesting, Dean.
Figure 4 ankle lock, tremendous pressure on the ligaments on the ankle, forced to tap. Now this has got to play dividends for Campbell's, because he's going to be, he went up on the scoreboards now and he can go for it.
And on the flip side, we got another tap out. Whoa, man. And there is definitely there an incredible turn of events for the young fighter. A grimace from Winiarek. The Mad Hatter has got to go for broke now, Dean.
Can't leave his legs out and let Campbell roll for those leg attempts. He needs to solidify a takedown. Now he needs to pass. He needs to pin the knee. He did it earlier on. Pin the knee to the mat. Look for the underhook on the opposite side and pass that left knee through and pin the leg down of Campbell to stop the hips moving. Campbell's real good when he's able to just fire those hips in every direction. He needs to pin those hips and the leg and pass.
And there's a lot to be said also, you know, in tournament fighting, which is one of the more difficult aspects of any sport. When you get a youngster like this who comes in, hits a couple of quick submissions there in succession, and then catches the flow state. We often talk about the physical in fighting, but you've got to consider the emotional and the mental. And right now, Campbell is in the zone, baby.
Looking for the triangle. He's got those legs cinched up nicely. He's pulling down the head, working the posture down. He needs his opponent in Winiarek to be down, his face facing his belly. And then what he'll try and do is cinch up that triangle lock nice and tight and squeeze. But Winiarek's doing the right thing. He's posturing up here.
And more importantly, hiding his left arm. There's definitely a way here for the youngster to finish this one with the TP guard. He's trying to hit that choke there, Dean. Now he goes back to the figure four. Man, I'm very impressed with the chaining of submissions, if you will, from Connor Campbell. Shout out to Andy Roberts.
Campbell working to get this posture down. Like to see him underhook the right leg of Winiarek to potentially knock him off balance for one, and then perhaps get the sweep, because if Winiarek's balance can be compromised, possibly looking for a straight armbar. As you alluded to, they got the left arm around the body of Winiarek, and Campbell now is attacking it.
And he did that, Dean, to try and at least deny the choke attempt. And it certainly bought him some time, at least at this point. The clock running here. And no doubt, the 18-year-old Andy Roberts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighter, Connor Campbell, sprinting towards the finish here, getting his squeeze on. And you notice the way he drags that ankle in deeper underneath the right kneecap to try and close off that figure four. Excellent posture from Piotr, looking up to the sky. And Dean, it's that game of inches and timing when you look up like that that opens up breathing room.
Nice. Excellent work there. Great posture shown by Winiarek. Stacked up Campbell very well, but Campbell just able to fire off those footlocks at will.
Crazy stuff from both men, but there can only be one, and that will be Connor Campbell from Andy Roberts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, moving on to the next round. Let's get things official with Martin Wild.
We have a winner from 2 submissions to 0, and moving on to face Callum Atkinson in the final in the blue corner.